Hello, I'm Oliver Colling, and this is my 70s TV childhood. Welcome back to the podcast, which you can eat between meals without ruining your appetite, which helps you work, rest and play, and is just enough to give your kids a treat. As you may have guessed from the title, we are a podcast which looks back fondly to what it was like to grow up as a child in 1970s Britain, and the special part that television played in our and our families' lives back then. If you're new to us, then welcome, and if you're a long-standing listener, then I do thank you for your support from the very bottom of my heart. Thanks to all of you who've been in touch recently, either by leaving a comment on our blog at www.my70stvchildhood.com or by posting to our various social media pages on Twitter/X, Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube. Also, thanks to those who have emailed me, oliver@my70stvchildhood.com. As usual, we've had a lot of comments on various subjects. I do love hearing from listeners, especially those who stumbled upon the podcast and then send me their thoughts as they get through our back catalogue, which is now up to, 130-something episodes. It does keep me on my toes as I do have trouble recalling what we featured a month or two back, never mind 4 years ago. But anyway, hearing from you, our lovely listeners, makes all the effort in putting the podcast together worthwhile. And it is really quite humbling to hear some of the stories you share about what memories listening to the podcast has brought back to you. Our recent episode featuring the animations of Jerry and Sylvia Anderson has brought in lots of comments and has gone what I believe is known to younger people as viral on social media, where our Facebook posts alone attracted over 4,000 reactions, 200 plus comments and more than 200 shares. I think it shows what a profound and long-lasting impact shows like Stingray, Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet, amongst others, had on a whole generation of us. Interestingly, we did have several comments from listeners who found Joe 90 a bit too dark for them, and therefore a bit much. Although the same could be said for Captain Scarlet, really, who was, from what I remember, brutally killed in almost every episode, only to rise again, as he was indestructible. Anyway, there are far too many comments to share here, but I will mention Dave M., who said, "I'll probably get some stick for this, but I found all of these too stupid for words." Well, thank you, Dave. You're a brave man, and we do appreciate honesty here on My 70s TV Childhood, so well done for sticking your neck out. 1 out of 4,000 odd. Can't be bad. Now, I don't know about you, but at the time of recording this episode, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, as the great Michael Bublé once said. Oh, and apparently some older bloke called, was it Bing Crosby or Dean Martin or somebody, might have said it as well in many, many years ago. The Christmas cards have started to land on the doormat. The big stores have launched their Christmas TV ads, yawn. And already families are trying to work out how they can avoid seeing their relatives over the festive season without making it too obvious. I think one of the few benefits of COVID is providing the perfect excuse for avoiding Auntie-Beryl on Christmas Day. Oh, not feeling so good. I think I might have a bit of COVID, so probably best I don't spread it around. Or am I being a bit too cynical here? Personally, I love Christmas, especially as, given I run my own business, I can guarantee myself a good fortnight's break, which is always welcome. But to enjoy Christmas properly, there's quite a bit of preparation required. I'm sitting here in my 70s TV childhood towers, surrounded by piles of unwritten Christmas cards, sipping on a snowball made with Warnick's Advocar, wearing my Christmas jumper, and starting to feel pretty jolly. Whether that's Christmas or the Advocar, I'm not quite sure. What it has done, though, has got me thinking about what the Christmas ritual was like during the 1970s, and in many ways it hasn't changed much. There are still essential parts of the whole process which survive, most notably the Christmas list. Now, as an adult, and my wife will attest to this, I'm absolutely hopeless at suggesting suitable presents to myself. I think it's because, well, genuinely, I don't really need anything, as I think I, and probably most of us, have already got enough stuff. But it is also a big contrast to being a child, when I used to go through kind of mental torture when writing my Christmas list. Do I ask for more in the hope that I'll get some of the things that I want? Am I asking for too much and looking too greedy? What would Father Christmas think? I probably overthought things a little bit as a child, but it was an annual challenge for me. As I got older, the task became a bit easier thanks to things like the Argos Catalogue, which was much beloved of generations of children, allowing us to write our lists and provide helpful page numbers direct from the pages of the catalogue. A bit clinical, but I have to say highly effective. But how did you decide what to put on your list? Obviously, the saturation of children's television as it used to happen, with adverts from September until Christmas Eve, when they were followed from Christmas Day onwards by the endless adverts for travel. Christmas out of the way, what's the first thing you want to do? Book your summer holiday, clearly. All of those helped shape our expectations, and for anyone who says television doesn't influence children, you must be mad when you think of how influential it was in helping us decide what presents we wanted. Way back in our 2020 Christmas special, I look back and remember my top 3 best ever presents. You won some and you lost some. I never did get an Evel Knievel, but I do remember getting some fantastic presents. So here's my top 3. Like many little boys, I had a strange idea of what war was like, and found military things very exciting, largely based on what I'd seen on the television. So one of my best ever Christmas presents was Action Man. For those who weren't around then, Action Man was the ultimate boy's toy. My first Action Man was a straightforward soldier, but I soon added to my collection of uniforms and equipment to the point where I was saving almost all of my pocket money to get the next item. What stood out was the quality and accuracy of all of the uniforms and equipment. They really were authentic replicas of World War II and later military dress and equipment, and we loved it for that. Unfortunately, I didn't ever get the Action Man paratrooper set, but decided to reproduce that by using a hanky and throwing him out of an upper floor window to test whether the hanky made a good parachute. As you can probably imagine, it didn't, and my Action Man lost a hand as a result, for which I then invented a backstory of heroic proportions to explain the loss. I got a second Action Man a couple of years later, and this one had, wait for it, gripping hands, so it was able to grip some of the weapons better. Later versions also had eagle eyes which shifted from side to side, but by that point I'd moved on to other things. Second in my top 3 was my train set. On Christmas morning 1975, I woke up to find a note left by Father Christmas, telling me to go downstairs to the living room. Intrigued, I went down to find a huge Hornby layout on the carpet, with 2 trains and various stations, signals and tunnels. Needless to say, I was delighted beyond words, and spent the next few days doing nothing else but playing with my new set. Thinking about it now, I can feel the joy of that moment all of these years later. My final top toy was one I got for Christmas in 1977. Christmas 1976 being a complete write-off as far as I was concerned, as I had glandular fever over the Christmas holidays, and only managed to spend about 10 minutes out of bed on Christmas Day itself. In 1977, I had badgered my parents for months for this, and when it finally arrived on Christmas morning, I was so excited that I was out of bed about 2 a.m. to unwrap it. What was it, I hear you ask, that caused such excitement? Well, it was the flick-to-kick sensation referenced in the undertones My Perfect Cousin, Subbuteo. And not only Subbuteo, but the jewel in the Subbuteo crown, the Stadium Edition, which included not only 3 teams, but also floodlights, a scoreboard, pitch fencing, and even a grandstand with little spectators inside. This was the ultimate present for a 10-year-old football fan, and began months of league competitions and exciting cup dramas to be played out on the green bays. There are plenty of others which could have made the top 3, like Slinky, Spirograph, and of course the incomparable Lego. But I do have to draw a line somewhere. There were also the ones that got away. As well as Evel Knievel, I remember being obsessed with the game Mousetrap, largely due to the incessant advertising of it on the TV. But my mother thought it looked cheap and not very exciting. When I finally got to play the game at a friend's house who had got it for Christmas, I found out the terrible truth. My mother was right. It was rubbish. And I think that's still probably my top 3 presents, I have to say. But all of those were heavily influenced by 2 factors, I suspect. Firstly, the peer pressure from my friends. And then secondly, how good and effective the TV adverts were. So which of these did you get? And how much did these adverts influence your choice?
Hello, I'm Willie Weeble. Today we're going to Weeble Farm in our new horse and cart. Hello, Farmer Weeble. Afternoon, Willie. Have you seen my new animals? Oh, look, Granny. They wobble just like us. Let's go, everybody. Oh, where's Wendy gone? Perhaps she's gone to the new Weeble paddling pool. There she is. Oh, there are lots of exciting new things in the wonderful world of Weebles.
Kaplunk and Buckaroo, 2 games of suspense from Ideal. Now, you need patience to play Kaplunk. You just pull out the sticks without letting any marbles fall, because when they do... Now, Buckaroo. You take turns putting boots and buckets and just about everything you can get your hands on Buckaroo. But carefully does it, because you never know when he's going to... Buckaroo, partner! Kaplunk and Buckaroo. They're both Ideal. You'll build the craziest mousetrap that was ever made to catch a mouse. Kick the bucket down the chute, turn the handle, take a dive, and... Now rebound. And the pressure's building up. Great shot next door. Home team with 1 more go. Aim. Shoot. Through the 2 blues and he's done it. Oh, now I'll have to ask him round again. Mousetrap and rebound. They're both Ideal.
What a collection there. Kaplunk, Mousetrap and Rebound. I wanted all of them. I don't think I ever had any of them. Huh. How about something a bit more cerebral instead?
It's my turn to operate. Operate? You've missed enough, Butterfingers!
It's Operation, the Mad Doctor's Game.
Take out his spare ribs for £100. No, you'll never do that. Don't touch your sides. Here goes his funny bone.
You need a very steady hand.
I did it. That's £200 for me. Can I have a go?
Operation, the Mad Doctor's Game from MP Games.
Now, I have mentioned this before, but my sister begged my parents for Cluedo, and it duly arrived at some point on Christmas Day in the early 70s. However, she insisted that the whole family play it again and again and again on Christmas Day, to the point where, well, actually, we all hated the game by the end of the day, and I'm not sure I've played it very much since. There's also an expectation when you get to a certain age that you buy your parents a present of some sort. And 70s TV provided all sorts of great ideas of what you could buy your mum and dad.
Where can you buy the Miracle Sander, the modern block that works its way through paint and varnish fast? At the Ronco Gift Centre. And where can you buy the battery tester? It tests SP batteries and even 9-volt batteries at the Ronco Gift Centre. At the Ronco Gift Centre, you'll find the roller measure, great for your measuring needs. The super saw cuts almost anything. And the buttoneer, the fast way to replace buttons. Solve all your Christmas shopping problems in just one place at the Ronco Gift Centre. Quality gifts at affordable prices.
The Ronco adverts achieved cult status in the 70s. Okay, I can imagine that certain dads might have appreciated the Miracle Sander, although not my father, who I never saw do anything practical at all, I don't think. But imagine how it would be received if you presented your mum, or even worse, your wife, with the buttoneer. I can imagine that a number of marriages may have been ended by the buttoneer over the years. And then, of course, there was almost an endless supply of musical gifts you could buy for the likes of Catalogue.
Hit Machine, K-Tel's Hit Machine, 22 big hits, 22 great stars with Billy Ocean, R&J Stone, Guys and Dolls, The Rollers, and Jigsaw, plus Walker Brothers, Mark Slick, and many, many more. Hit Machine, 22 big hits, 22 great stars. Hit Machine at record shops now from K-Tel.
I always used to love those ones that said this offer is not available in the shops, which as a child I thought meant the product was really exclusive and therefore very, very special, rather than being a sort of cheap product ideal for mass production and mail order. And of course, the music was all on vinyl records or tape cassettes. And I'm sure we all remember the moment that our cassette tapes used to get chewed up by the player, and that sort of crinkling noise before it all went wrong. I also remember the crackling of records when they got a bit dusty. But oh, hang on. Ronco have got a great answer to that. We should also make an ideal gift for somebody.
Introducing the amazing record vacuum by Ronco, the stereo accessory that protects all your records. Simply insert your record into record vacuum and it rotates automatically, sweeping and vacuuming your records instantly. Record vacuum helps eliminate static electricity buildup and loosens damaging microdust particles which distort sound and damage your needle. 33 1/3, 45s, 78s, any size fits. Record vacuum, a perfect Christmas gift. Only £5.99 at Woolworth, WH Smith, Tesco and most fine stores.
How did I ever do without the record duster machine? Do you know, I guess we'll never know. Oh, time to relax with a drink after all that excitement.
How would you describe the taste of warnings?
Well, it starts off. Then, all of a sudden, and it leaves you feeling
Warnings. There's no taste quite like it.
Ah, lovely. Why don't we drink Advocaat all year round? What were your favourite Christmas adverts from the 1970s? You can let me know by getting in touch via the blog, social media or email, as I explained earlier. We'd love to know what they were. Anyway, I'd best get back to writing my Christmas cards. There's still a while to go before Christmas, but I do need to let you know that next week we'll bring our much-awaited episode of our quiz, where all of the questions have been sourced by listeners. Thanks to all of you who sent in your questions and answers. We've had loads of great challenging entries, and sorry if I haven't yet thanked you for yours. If you haven't sent yours in, then I'm sorry. Unfortunately, you've missed out this time, but we've had such a good response that I think it's something we might do again very soon. We'll also be back in a fortnight with our Christmas special edition, which is always a bit of fun. But in the meantime, look after yourselves. Remember that Christmas Day will be on the 25th of December this year, so thinking you're going to be posting your present on the 24th and it'll arrive in time, it's not likely to be a good move. So join us again soon for more from My 70s TV Childhood.